feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Brian Giles with Brian Giles MTG. And hoo-haw, it's Modern Horizons 3 spoiler. Happy birthday to me. Today, May 21st, is my birthday, and I'm celebrating it by putting out the actual revealed spoilers of Modern Horizons 3. So, hoo-haw, let's get into this. Now, the video that I have presented before was part of the spoiler palooza we had a while back. I will make links to that video into the description and whatnot. So starting off here is Flare of Denial. So 2 blue and 1 instant that reads, you may sacrifice a non-token blue creature rather than pay this spell's mana cost. Counter target spell. Well, it's a decent counter spell, and it's a free spell if you sacrifice a non-token blue creature. And this, because we've had so much leaks, is also going to be part of a cycle of free spell instance, starting with the word flare. So hoo-haw. Next up we have Chthonian Nightmare. So it's a black and 1 for an enchantment that reads, when Chthonian Nightmare enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy counters. Pay X energy counters, sacrifice a creature. Return Chthonian Nightmare to its owner's hand. Turn target creature card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Well, this is the return of energy, and energy is going to play a big part in this set. So, hoo-haw. Well, that's interesting. Next up, we have another powerful card in Ugin's Labyrinth. Now, this is a land that has imprint. Now, imprint is something that you get an ability when it enters the battlefield. So when it enters the battlefield, you may exile a colorless card with mana value 7 or greater from your hand. Tap it to add a colorless mana. If a card is exiled with Ugin's Labyrinth, add 2 colorless instead. Or you can tap it to return the exiled card to its owner's hand. Now, this is some shenanigans that you can do, but the idea is to maybe protect a card that has high mana cost until later when you can cast it, so it's not discarded or removed in any other way. So that's interesting. Please pardon the yawning. Next up, we have Urza's Cave. A new Urza land. So it's a land, Urza's Cave. Tap a Tana colors or pay 3 and sacrifice it. Search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. Tap, then shuffle. So that's any land card. So 3 mana for land hunting is not bad. So you can get your fetch lands, your man lands, whatever land you need for the specific situation. And it counts as an Urza land, which will be important later. Next up, we have White of the Reliquary, which is a black and a green for a 2/2 zombie knight with vigilance. It gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. Tap it and sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. Tap and shuffle. So if you're playing a recursion deck, this thing could do all sorts of fun stuff. Next up, we have some new Eldrazi in Spawn Gang Commander, a take on the Goblin Siege Gang Commander. So it's 2 red and 3 for a 2/2 Eldrazi Goblin that is devoid, which means it has no color. We cast a spell, create 3 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens. With sacrifice this creature to add a colorless mana. Spend a colorless mana and a generic, and sacrifice an Eldrazi. Spawn Gang Commander deals 2 damage to any target. So, hoo-ha. It's an Eldrazi Siege Gang Commander. Next up, we have the first of our reprints, because this is a Modern Horizons set. We're going to have lots of reprints. So we have Kappa Cannoneer from the commander sets of Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. So it's a blue and 5 for 4/4 artifact creature turtle warrior with improvise, which means your artifacts can help you cast the spell. You can tap each one to pay for a generic. It has Ward 4, which means it's incredibly hard to get rid of. Whenever it or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it can't be blocked this turn. So this fits well in your artifact builds. And to counter that, we have a reprint from Urza Saga in Meltdown. A red and X for a sorcery that reads, destroy each artifact with mana value X or less. Then we have Felia, Exuberant Shepherd. White 1 for a 2/2 legendary creature dog. Has flash. Whenever it attacks, exile up to one other target non-land permanent. Beginning of the next end step, turn that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. If it enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Felia. So Felia is the ultimate in Blink dogs. Ha ha ha. It is a Blink dog. And it has flash, which means you can, if somebody's trying to get rid of one of your creatures on your opponent's turn, you can flash this in, save it, and it comes back at the end of the turn. And you get a +1/+1 counter on Ophelia. So, hoo-ha. Next up, we have more Eldrazi, because Eldrazi are, excuse me, going to be huge in this set. I made a funny, huge Eldrazi. Cool. So we have Null Drifter. 7 mana for a 4/4 Eldrazi Elemental. When you cast this spell, draw 2 cards. It has flying and Annihilator 1, and you can cast it for its evoke cost, but it's sacrificed when it enters the battlefield. So you get the evoke cost of a blue and 2. And you get to draw 2 cards. So you get its ETB effect. Next up, we have Harrogast Erupting Nullkite, which is 9 mana for a 6/6 legendary Eldrazi dragon. Now you can pay it for its emerge cost of 2 red and 6. Which means you sacrifice a creature and pay its emerge cost. When you cast this spell, you exile your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. It has flying. Each creature spell you cast has emerge. The emerge cost is equal to its mana cost. Please excuse my hiccuping. And we're back. Next up, we have Kudo, King Among Bears. So, this is a green and a white for a 2/2 legendary bear. Other creatures have base power and toughness 2/2 and are bears in addition to their other types. So if you're going bear tribal, but that also means that all other creatures. It means also your creatures and your opponent's creatures. So this is really good in a bear build, but not much else. Unless you're just desiring to make all your opponents' big creatures into 2/2 bears and then board wipe them. Next up, we have another powerful card in Null Elemental Blast. A colorless mana for instant reads, choose one, counter target multicolored spell, or destroy target multicolored permanent. So this is like the red and the blue elemental blasts, but it's it's kind of a colorless version of that works on multicolored. So hoo-ha. Next up, we have Nethergoyf. It's another of the Lurgoyfs that we will be seeing, because Lurgoyfs are another big part of this set. So a black mana for a star and a star +1 Lurgoyf, its power and toughness is equal to the number of card types from cards in your graveyard. Your toughness is equal to that number +1. As you can escape it for a black and 2, and any number of cards with 4 or more card types among them. We have Sylvan Safekeeper, green mana for a 1/1 human wizard. Sacrifice a land, target creature you control gains Shroud until the end of turn. Well, this would fit well in especially your lands matters deck. You've got land recursion going on. Yeah, that works off pretty well because you can give your creatures Shroud, which means they can't be affected by any types of spells from either you or your opponent. Except we have another reprint in Orum's Chant. White mana for an instant with kicker of a white mana. Target player can't cast spells this turn. If the spell was kicked, creatures can't attack this turn. Yeah, 2 white mana. No, you can't cast spells, and no, you can't attack me either. Talk about your ultimate lockdown card. Hoo-haw. Then we have Winter Moon, which I guess is kind of like a take on a Winter Orb for 2 generic and artifact reads. Players can't untap more than 1 non-basic land during their untap steps. This in Commander that's going to be a not fun card. So next up we have Siege Gang Lieutenant. Red and 3 for a 2/2 Goblin with Lieutenant. Save combat on your turn. If you control your commander, create 2 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. These tokens gain haste until end of turn. Pay 2 and sacrifice a goblin. It deals 1 damage to any target. So it's like a Siege Gang commander, but a lesser version. Next up, we have a card that's been talked about ever since it was leaked in Final Act. So it's 2 black and 4 for source and reach. Choose 1 or more. Destroy all creatures, destroy all planeswalkers, destroy all battles, exile all graveyards. Each opponent loses all counters. So this thing is a powerhouse, and it has been called the black version of Farewell. It has 5 choices instead of 4. Most of it is destroy, but that is mainly a black thing, whereas exile is more a white thing. But you have this 5th choice of each opponent loses all counters. That means energy counters, ability counters, +1/+1 counters, counters on your planeswalkers. So you don't have to destroy all your planeswalkers. You can just take all the counters away. Or you can use it in a political sense to remove all your opponent's poison counters. So this is an entirely useful card. And you get to destroy all battles. Now, I don't know what the purpose of that would be. I mean, does the action still happen? Or are they like removed, like it's just a removal? I will have to get some rules verification on that. So we're at 20 minutes, and I'm going to say hoo-ha. We'll see you on the next video.